10 now again. You can use user. For example, you are adding user block into auth configuration file, right? There you are attaching to group, right? So user ARN. Sorry. Yeah, new version, different concept. That's what I'm new concept is not supporting this kind of auth configuration file. It will not open. I know that. The new concept I'll plan. Yesterday you asked, right? Same thing. Yeah. Which version you tried? 1.34. Yeah. Yeah. We don't have any class tomorrow. Required or any class required? No. Okay, cluster still creating. We can go and check here. So cluster is active now. Click on cluster and go to compute here. So node group still creating, guys. Once node group create, yeah, node group is creating. Okay, can go. Which exam? Online assessment. Okay. Which online assessment? Job. Okay. Okay, guys. So cluster created now. This region. So 1.34 is the latest version. So you can see here resources. You can see the number of pods also now in the dashboard itself. How many pods are running? These are default pods. You can see in a replica set also there. I have given required permissions through Terraform, right? You can see everything now. So I can see replica set, pod, deployment, one deployment also there. These are the default one, the background. Any jobs are running, any priority class, horizontal pod auto scaler. I haven't configured any horizontal pod auto scaler. So like this, you can see here the dashboard itself only. Okay. Okay. So, and also we can control through Terraform taint and tolerations and all we discuss, right? Cluster IP selections, what it is, node selector and all, right? We can do those things also through Terraform. We can add entries, node selector entries and everything through Terraform also you can control. Understand? Yeah. Or after creating also we can enable node selector, node taint and all. Okay. So you can also practice today, create a cluster by using Terraform. So yeah, and one concept is there, guys. Resource and request, guys. Resources and request is a concept. So we can put some limit to the pods. This is recommended way. It's not a default one. Resource and request we have to give. This is the one. So we have a in the under resources we have a two entries. One is for request, one is for limits. Every pod, see guys, every pod we have to set some limits. Otherwise, pod will take unlimited resources from the node. You tell me if unlimited rows, unlimited resource, how how something, for example, scheduler has to calculate. So based on the resources, scheduler can land pod on a specific node, right? So scheduler can decide based on the resources availability. So even pod, if instance inside application is running, for example, instance inside application is running, if you put 90% set point for auto scaling group, what is the meaning here? Your instance type is 1 GB RAM, for example, and CPUs are 1 CPU. 90% set point means what? 0.90 CPU is the set point. If the CPU reach, one more instance will create, right or not? If there is no limit here, how you can set 90% here? 90% for what set point? Unlimited. Then nowhere no instance will create. Definitely instance will be crash only, right or not? So when you put any set point, first we should have a target set point. On top of the target set point, we can keep your set point. 100%, for example, 10 GB is there. Your RAM, for example. This instance is supporting till 10 GB as per the instance type of the class. Now, if you want to put any set point for the auto scaling group, definitely you can take 70% or 80% set point. 80% of the 10 GB means 8 GB, right? Now, auto scaling group automatically when instance take 8 GB, one more server will create. Same thing now pod, if you not put any limits, resource limits, hardware limits, how I can say pod resources now? For example, instance, this pod is running inside the server, right? Now pod can take unlimited resources or not? But horizontal pod scaling is what? When pod is reached a certain time, it will create a one more pod. A pod will reach certain load, it will create a one more pod. But if you not mention resource and limits, how you can set the set point for the pod load, right or not? That's what if you can see horizontal, for example, if you can go to Kubernetes concept, HPA concept we discuss, right? Let's go to the Kubernetes main. Yeah, now you can see here. Day 4, here. Now this is HPA.ml, right? And deployed.ml you can see. Requests are 250 M millicore, right or not? So my set point is 250 M millicore. So 0.25 CPUs. If 0.2 CPUs reach for every pod, it should create a second pod. Now, this 255 millicore, I think 2.5 CPU. Huh? Okay, anyway. Now, my set point is what here? HPA.ml inside. I have given one only. So, 250 out of 250 millicore of the pod, if it will reach to 1%, one more pod it should create. Clear or not? Yeah. So, my pod set point is what here? 250 millicore. This is my pod limit. Okay. So more than that, it won't take any resources from the node. Clear now? Now my set point is what? HPA. I have given just 1%. So 1% of 250 millicore. Understand? Maybe 2.5 or 0.25, whatever it is. If load is more than 2.5 millicore on the pod, one more pod will create. So this pod also resource limit is what? Same 250 mi, creating from the same deployment, right? If this two pods average more than 2.5, again, one more pod will create. So what I'm trying to say, if this target resource limit is there, how you can put a set point? 2.5 at which percentage? Unlimited. Huh? It is not possible. We cannot scale the pods, right or not? Yeah. That's what resource limits are very important. In interview, there are chances to ask this question, how you can limit the resources for the pod. By default, if you know, by default, pod can take how much RAM, how much CPU. They may ask simple question to you. Unlimited. Pod can take unlimited resources from the node if you not specify anything. So definitely we have to specify something here, resource and limits for the along with the your deployment.aml. So we have a two type of entries under resources. One is for request, one is for limit. Request is at the time of pod start time. Start time, how much? Max CPU, it will take 50 millicore only. More than it, it will ask, pod is going to be restart again. Again it will. Why? We are adding startup probe also, right? Again it is taking more than. Again pod is going to be restart. After couple of times restarts, it is enter into the crash loop back of error stage. So pod completely decommissioning only, you have to do it later. Clear now? So now 50 millicore I'm giving, more than it is taking. So we are not allowing. So pod has to be not start. So CPU memory at the time of start comes under requests. At the time of running, limits. CPU 100M and memory 200 millicore. You can change the set points also. But if you not give here, unlimited, there is no limit. So HPA not work now, right or not? So now you can see in Kubernetes, your resources request in your pod container specification manage allocating some resources effectively. The settings help ensure that your application have necessary resources to run efficiently. Clear na? And so for example, any leakage is there, any memory leakage, something security leakage is there. What will happen? Number of requests will hit to pod. Something is going on. Number of something running a script, for example. A default request is running. For example, recently in my one of the application, actual traffic is 20K, 30K. But a specific time the traffic hit to 3 lakhs only for 5 minutes. Definitely something abnormality, right? It's not expected traffic. So it's a pod effect. So someone is running a script. It will take more resources, right, at that time. So more resources, it will consume CPU high alert, it will be triggered. CPU high alert will be triggered, 5x error. Multiple times CPU is taking. So something is abnormality here, not regular one. So immediately we'll got an alert. We can check, okay, someone ran some script. Okay. Anyway, the IP will be blocked automatically WAF, right? Web application firewall. So here also, if you not set any pod set point, pod consume multiple resources at that time, right? But if you set a set point, definitely after set point, creating a multiple pods, right or not? Creating a multiple pods also abnormality. Why it creating multiple pods as no traffic at this time? It's a normal regular traffic only, right? Then we can come to know, okay, something more traffic is there. But more traffic is there, it's a spike only, right? It's not a continuous traffic. Spike means it will wait for some time. Horizontal pod autoscaler not create immediately for the pod. It will wait for 1 minute. As per the CloudWatch monitoring set point is 1 minute as a default set point. If the load is continuously there 1 minute only, it will create a one more pod. Until and it's considered as a spike. The spike will hit high CPU alert again. So you can come to know. So here also same. If you put a resource and limits, that will protect from the abnormality conditions also. Yeah. So this is mandatory one. Resource and limits are mandatory one. Clear everyone now? Okay. So if I put, so you can try today. So put CPUs 50, memory 100M. After that, you can run stress command. By giving a more CPUs, more memory, this pod is going to be crash loop of error if probes are there. Otherwise, pod is not responding. It will go for a saturation state. Clear now? If HPA is not, HPA is there, one more pod will create. If HPA is not there, this pod go for crash stage only, right or not? Why? The limit is 50 only, but you guys are accessing more than 50. So pod is not responding for your request. Pod go for different state now completely. So these are important now. So resource and limits, we have a two type of resources. So requests the minimum amount of resources required for the container to start. And limit is what? The maximum amount of resources container to allow to use. Maximum. More than that, it will not allow any resources. Node will not allow any resources to this pod. Clear, everyone? Okay. So these are the main concepts in Kubernetes, guys. So what we can do? So Jan 2nd, maybe day after tomorrow, we can plan a project now. 2-3 projects we can discuss now completely. And after that, we have a one more concept, guys. ECS Fargate. I will show one of the project on ECS Fargate also. This is ECS concept is completely managed by AWS. Okay, ECS is a completely managed by AWS. EKS is, it's a combination of. EKS also, guys, you are taking responsibility for what? Worker nodes. Control node is AWS taking care. So user responsibility is worker node. Worker node resource managing also your responsibility. How much, I mean, what type of node is required, T2 medium or M series or C series, your responsibility. So hardware management completely your responsibility for the worker node in the AWS EKS concept. But we have a one more concept in AWS EKS also. The concept is not combination of EC2. Worker nodes are EC2, right? EKS plus EC2 combination, what we learned till now. EKS combination with EC2 means what? Worker nodes are EC2 nodes. You have to take care of the responsibility. But EKS combination, one more process also there, Fargate. The Fargate, you no need to scale up any resources. Automatically, whatever resources are required, Fargate will give to your pods. Clear na? Let me tell you the example. Okay. For example, guys, let's focus. This is control plane, EKS control plane. And the background, I mean, we are creating 2 worker nodes. Clear na? So 2 worker nodes. For example, here 2 pods, here 2 pods are running. Now these pod resources you have to provide from where? Nodes. Pod resources you have to provide from the node. Node means what? EC2 instances, right or not? Okay. EC2 instance. Now this is combination of EKS plus EC2. Clear na? EKS and combination of here control plane plus worker node. So worker nodes are what? EC2. Clear na, guys? This is what we learned so far. We have a one more combination, EKS control plane plus worker nodes. But these worker nodes are not EC2. Worker nodes are Fargate. Clear na? The benefits, definitely many benefits are there. The benefits are, guys, tell me, these 2 pods are running. 2 pods are running. Important, guys. There are chances to ask this kind of questions in interview. Pod 1, pod 2, 3, 4. Clear na, guys? 4 pods are running. So these 2 pods consuming entire hardware for the EC2. Now there is no space. There is no hardware availability for the EC2 instance for the next pod. Now I want to deploy 4 more pods. Definitely the new pods are going to pending state. Why? EC2 inside hardware is consuming these 2 pods only, for example. Now resources are not available means pods are going to pending state or not. This is pods are going to pending state. In this case, what we need to do? We have to enable definitely node autoscaler. Who is responsibility? Our responsibility. Okay, you have to configure here ASG, AWS auto scaling group for the nodes. Or we have a concept carpenter also, AWS tool, or we can use not C, K only. Okay, and next is what here? Auto mode. So we have to take care of this. AWS by default not taking care of everything. These three, any one of you have to enable for increase the nodes automatically. This is you need to take care, right? Okay. So node level patchings, you have to take care or not? Node level patchings, OS upgrades. Okay. And whatever required for the node. See, node completely your responsibility. And control plane responsibility of AWS. Okay, let's add a control plane. Okay. So here AWS responsibility is for control plane. You no need to patch any control plane OS, that is taking care by AWS. Okay. So we have to take care worker node. So we are the responsible for worker nodes. Clear na guys? So hardware management, patching and all we have to take care additionally. Now here one drawback also there. You created a cluster with 3 nodes, worker nodes. But we are not utilizing the 3 worker nodes. See, every time there is no 99% traffic, right? But we have to pay for what? EC2 cost or not? Node cost. Whether you can use or not, you are running instance hardware is not pay as you go. One instance is pay as you go. Inside hardware, you have to pay it. If you take a T2.large or T2.micro, 1 CB wondering whether you can use or not, you have to pay, right? Now, these 3 nodes, for example, support just different use case I'm saying. These 3 nodes able to support 100 pods. Each node 100 pods can support based on your size of the server node. But you are deploying again 1 pod. Tell me 99% resources wastage or not? Wastage means you have to pay that. But to overcome this challenge, the concept is Fargate. This is Fargate example. Here, you no need to worry about the worker node now. So what they will provide, these nodes also, they will take care now. Worker nodes also, they will take care. So can I say this is serverless now? Simply like a control plane, serverless. See, what is Fargate? If you ask me that, simple server only, but it's not running in our end. Serverless. Lambda is serverless now. Plug and play. Lambda resources we no need to manage. Lambda by default scalable. Lambda OS upgrades no need to take care. But to run an application, whatever resources Lambda providing or not. RDS serverless. We no need to create in our end server, right? Same. This serverless concept is Fargate. Now this Fargates, if you integrate with the cluster, EKS cluster, no need to create any worker nodes first. Fargate profiles you have to create. Once you integrate with the cluster, now your pods running inside the Fargate profiles. Clear? The required pod resources, whatever pod resource you require, Fargate will provide completely. By default scalable. You no need to integrate in auto scaling group. No need to integrate in EKS auto mode carpenter integrations and all. By default, just wait. Hello? Yes? Yes, speaking. Okay. Yes. Exactly correct. Hmm. Correct. Yes, correct. 10. Hmm. 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 No, no, I'm not looking at a job change. I'm not looking at this time. So thanks. Yeah. Can you call me later, please? I mean, yeah, correct, 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 correct. Yeah, DevOps and cloud, big data. Yeah, correct, correct. Thanks. 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 Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Target. So you can create, you no need to worry about your application resources. Once you integrate with the Fargate, you can relax now. So pod required resources, earlier pod required resources we are giving from where? EC2. This EC2 who is going to take care? We are going to take care. Clear na? Now required pods resources providing from Fargate. This Fargate who will responsible? AWS. So now if you take EKS on Fargate, you can relax. Complete relax. Understand now? So same concept we have a ECS also. ECS combination EC2, ECS combination Fargate also. ECS is complete AWS native tool. Kubernetes is not AWS service, right? They are taking a reference from the Kubernetes. On top of it, they have added AWS layers. But AWS introduced direct Kubernetes service kind of concept. You no need to take any EKS, directly you can use ECS also. But we have some drawbacks, EKS and ECS. EKS well suitable for more applications deployment, more organizing and all. ECS, we don't have much control here. So it will support till 1000 applications, some number also there here. ECS will provide the hardware, there is a limit, not unlimited. So small scale applications, blindly go with ECS, no doubt on this. Clear? EKS is heavier if you take for the small applications. Number of resources required, heavier, right? Many default resources also consume here. But ECS, lightweight, for small applications, like a plug and play method, you can directly go. You no need to create a cluster and all. Clear na? The differences and all? Yeah. And ECS combination, ECS combination, Fargate EC2 also there. EKS combination, Fargate EC2 also there. So far I discuss EKS combination EC2. So EKS combination Fargate, ECS combination Fargate also we can see. So that we'll get some more clarity on this area. Okay. Yeah. EKS with EC2, EKS with Fargate. See the difference here? See the difference here? Manage a node group, auto scaler, number of instances. You are managing or not here? Total how many node groups are here? 4. 1, 1, 1. Auto scaling also integrated. Number of, so node group is only 1. Nodes are 4. Auto scaling integrated. 5th node, 6th node also will create. But see the left hand here? No nodes. Nothing is the just Fargate. Your pods required information, what required resources Fargate only provide to pods. Clear the difference here? See, forget scales automatically, right or not? No need to do anything. Now, the good thing for the forget, which I like here, whatever resources you are going to use, you can pay for that only. Clear now? Your pod resources only you can pay. Pod consuming a 50 GB RAM, for example, pay for 50 GB RAM only. But here, whether pod consume or not, we have to pay for EC2 hardware, right or not? This is the much difference here. But when we can go for EC2, when we can go for forget, if you need a more control for the worker node in your responsibilities, if you want to do some customizing things and all, then go for EC2 as a worker node. I don't know, no need to perform anything for the node. Relax, give to forget and relax. Here costing also less compared to EC2, forget. And depends on usage, guys. More usage is there, more usage is there, go for EC2. The per GB cost is more here in the forget, definitely. Right or not? Per GB cost more in the forget compared to EC2. But most usage, bulk usage is there for EC2. You know already requirements are more. But my application, I don't know when the traffic will come. I don't know when the traffic is less. So infrequent requests are more. For example, go for forget. Linear load always go for EC2. Clear na? Non-linear load, what will happen? EC2 will create and delete, create and delete, create and delete. Again, one more concept also there, guys. On EC2 level. EKS EC2 combination is there. Recently, we have implemented one concept. EKS EC2 combination. Leave it for the forget. EKS EC2 combination. Still, can we reduce the cost? EKS EC2, I want to reduce the cost. Any implementations we can perform? EKS EC2. Any cost implementations? Already discussed in EC2 time. Reserved you are talking about. Reserved benefits also there. If you are not utilized, you have to pay upfront, right? Understand? Reserved you have to pay upfront or not? Yeah, benefit is there. Okay, is there any other type? Instead of reserved, instead of on demand, is there another type? I think dedicated more expensive. I'm saying to overcome the costing, how to implement cost optimization. Huh? Hotspot. Spot instances. Very good. How spot instances will work? It will delete anytime, right? If you want to work with spot instance, what you need to do first? Implement definitely scaling concept, right? You are not supposed to deploy spot instance your application alone. Spot instance delete anytime, right? But if you integrate spot with auto scaling group, it will create a many spot instances. So even one delete, one create, no need to worry. So I can integrate EKS with spot instances also. But instances continuously terminate and create. So we have to go for more number of instances. If you need only 4, for example, for your application purpose, 4 instances are enough. Go for 10 spot. Understand? At least 1 delete, 2 delete, 3 delete, at least minimum maintain 4 or 5. So traffic is not stable. But no worries, multiple spot instances are there now. Nothing to worry. Load balancer can send traffic to working spot instance only, right or not? So cost will reduce 90%. So one of the sports application we have implemented, 90% savings we have seen. We have showed to customer already. 2024, 2025, 90% difference is there. But some challenges is also there. Heavy traffic, some cases, triggers, many alarms, many instability traffic. It's okay, but always application is running or not is the point here. So that option also there. So yeah. Okay, so okay guys, so we don't have any class tomorrow. Okay, next class will be on Jan 2nd. Happy? Okay, thank you so much, online team. Thank you.